Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Mafex Blue Hush Batman. Now this has been a long time coming. The hype around this figure is huge. Some people are guessing this might be the best Batman figure ever released, but we'll see about that. Now Mafex has made some pretty bad Batman figures, especially at the beginning, but over the years their quality has gotten great. They've made some stellar figures as well. This is from Batman Hush, one of the most popular modern Batman storylines, and it looks like they're going to be digging deep into this line. We've already seen another color Batman, Superman, Hush, Catwoman. I hope they dig really far into the story. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. So you can see at the bottom, there's Batman, the figure looking great, Batman Hush action figure, Mafex Medicom DC, Batman Hush, here he is in the package. A ton of hands, looks like 2 alternate heads, totaling 3 different heads. A couple Batarangs in there, and who knows what else. Top, Batman Hush. The side, Batman Hush. Other side, you can see the figure posed up with his cloth cape. Do notice this is the 105th figure in the Mafex line. At the bottom, there is a barcode in case that helps anybody, as well as a bunch of credits. And then in the back, here's the figure in some different poses with his mask off, just looking fantastic. So let's open him up and see if the hype is true. And I did end up getting 2 of these figures, one of them to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch Batman and related unopened action figure collection, and one of them to open and enjoy. And here's my unopened figure taking his rightful place with all the other unopened figures in front of my Batman and related comics. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a flight stand, it's transparent. He comes with 12 alternate hands, totaling 14 interchangeable hands. He's got 2 extra heads, totaling 3 heads. He's got 4 Batarangs and 2 grapnel attachments. They can attach to his grapnel launcher, which is in a couple of his hands. But before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So this is a modern blue and gray Batman from the Hush storyline. So far, he's looking great. Look at that cowl, short ears. You can see the sculpt on the brow there. I like it, the white eyes. Then you got this long cloth cape. It has 2 wires in it on either side, a total of 4 wires. Things looking fantastic, longer than he is. Looking great. Pull that back. You can see his bat symbol, no oval, got that modern look. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, 2 ball joints here. His utility belt looks great, got pouches all over it, even to the back. Blue trunks, you can see all the sculpted muscle all over him. Got some different shades of gray in his suit. I like that. They did a great job with him so far. Got some blue boots at the bottom. Overall, this guy is looking excellent, and I'm not having any of those traditional Mafex problems with his joints falling off or any of that stuff. So far, so good. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. Let's start off by looking at his stand. His display stand comes into 3 different pieces. We've got the base here, we've got the middle, and then we've got the area that's going to hold Batman. On the base, there are 3 different holes you can plug the stand into, so it has some different customizable options. Now that we've got the stand fully assembled, it's got a base, it's got articulation near the base here, it's got more articulation here, it's got even more articulation up here, and the clamp here can open and shut to hold your figure. Just a quick example of what the stand can do. You can have him in midair, kicking somebody with his cape fluttering in the background. Actually, looking at this, I noticed my cape has several wrinkles on it. You can't sort of stretch them back out, but they go right back in there just because of how it was in the package. I am curious if somebody maybe would be interested in ironing or steaming this and seeing if that helps. I'd really hate to be the first one to try that, but I'd be very curious what the end result would be. Now let's check out his hands. Like I said before, he's got 14 different hands, the 7 pairs of hands. Here's his first pair of hands. These have Batarangs between his fingers. Looking great. Very classic Batman thing to do. Getting ready to throw all 4 of these Batarangs. Next, let's look at his hands. They have the grappling launchers permanently attached. Now, I'm not a fan of action figure companies doing this. I much prefer to have a removable grappling launcher that I can put into my bat armory. Instead, it's permanently attached to these hands, and they're just going to go into a baggie and can't be used on display or with other figures. Now, he's probably never going to be using 2 grappling launchers at the same time. I decided to pop on both the hands just to show you what they're like. More than likely, you just have one of them. So you can see that's how it looks on one side. It does have a hole for the attachments on the end there. It looks pretty cool. But like I said, not really my cup of tea. And since we're looking at his grappling launcher hands, let's check out the accessories for those. Both these have the hook. This one here is presumably going to be sticking right out of the grappling launcher, and this one here has a large line behind it. Now this is not a bendy wire, just one long straight wire. Here he is, getting ready to launch his grapnel gun. He's got the first attachment inserted here. Here he is, just after he's launched the line, getting ready to go up into the sky. Here he is with his third pair of hands, his fisted hands. And then his fourth pair of hands. These hands are fairly open. I'd almost describe them as grabbing hands. And here, with his fifth pair of hands, I would describe these as the most open and relaxed type hands he comes with. And here he is with his sixth pair of hands. These are pretty similar to fists, but have a small slit in them to hold the Batarang. And here, with his seventh pair of hands, these appear to be sort of gripping hands. They could hold an accessory, but he doesn't really come with any appropriate for these hands. These are the hands I'm going to use for this guy for the most part. His right hand will be a gripping hand in case you want to give him another bat gadget or accessory. And his left hand is that fisted hand that has a slit in it, so it can double up as a fist, and he can also hold a Batarang. Now let's look at his heads. He's got a total of 3 heads, 2 have the mask on, 1 has a mask off. On the far left, you can see it's just a sort of regular, expressionless head. And I notice it has a blue neck attached to it. The neck does come off and on the figure pretty easily. The next head is with the mask on, and he's angry, looking like he's about to just go nuts on somebody. In the far right, we've got his Bruce Wayne head. I like the attention to detail, giving you the unmasked neck, as if his entire cowpiece comes off at once. Pretty nice. Here would be his first head. Kind of got a normal expression on it. This is the head he came with in the package, and the head I'll be using for this figure most of the time. Here's his second head. Very angry, mouth open, teeth grinding against each other. Makes me think of something from The Dark Knight Returns. And here he is with his Bruce Wayne head. Put the regular neck on, like the neck and cowl is one piece. Take it off, and I must say, this is a great comic Bruce Wayne head. Gonna be great for him in the Batcave. Here he is in the Batcave with his cowl off, doing research. I must say, this looks absolutely fantastic. This will work great for Batman sitting at the Bat computer, doing some research. As much as I like a Batman with his mask off, there's something I want to do even more with this head. I've got an extra one of these John Wick figures, and I really want to make a Bruce Wayne in his suited body. Here we go. Bruce Wayne head on a suited body. Bruce Wayne in civilian attire. Maybe as he's going to work at Wayne Enterprises. I think this actually looks pretty good. I will say the neck on the Bruce Wayne head was a little too big for the John Wick body, so I had to use the John Wick neck and the Bruce Wayne head. The paint matches pretty nice. The peg is a little bit incompatible. The hole in Bruce Wayne's head couldn't quite fit it properly. I may have to heat it up. I may have to mod it, but I think I have a winner here. I'm really liking the way this looks. It's almost like getting 2 figures in one. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Yes or no. Here's how this head would look onto a Mafex Justice League Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne body. Has the same problem. The peg doesn't quite get into the hole properly, so it's not firmly attached on there. Here it is onto a Christian Bale Bruce Wayne body. Same problem with the peg. The head's not quite all the way on there. It's sitting a little too high right now. If I heat it up, I can probably get it on there more. So here we are, 3 different Mafex Bruce Wayne figures. And I almost forgot, I actually threw a couple of extra Mafex Bruce Wayne heads onto an Eggsy and Galahad from Kingsman. No shortage of Mafex Bruce Waynes in this house. Now let's check out his Batarangs. He's got 2 different Batarangs and 2 of each of the 2 different kinds. They're completely silver, they're made of hard plastic. You will not be able to bend them at all. Here he is holding the first Batarang. That's one thing he doesn't do very good, is put his arm up and have his cape go around it properly. Just doesn't quite look right that way. And here he is holding his other Batarang. So now let's check out the cape. Let's see what it can and can't do. So for starters, we'll say a little bit annoyed. Mine has some wrinkles in it. They don't seem to be just sort of coming out on their own. So his cape has 4 bendy wires in it, allowing you to do a lot of things with it. I think the color is very nice, matches his outfit, very cloth. The part without the wire has pretty nice material, flows very nicely. So you can completely shut his cape, sort of seal him off from everything else. You can outstretch it like this. If he's gliding down or gliding over the city, it is important how you get both bendy wires here to make it look good. And don't get me wrong, I am terrible at posing capes. You can have him crouch down with his cape spread out all around him. Kind of reminded me of the fan film Dead End. So I took this Mezco Batman stand that kind of has all the clips to outstretch his cape. I didn't actually attach the cape to the clips, just sort of laid it on there, and I think it looks pretty cool. You can almost achieve something like this just by using the couple bendy wires. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, now let's check out the height of this guy. From bottom to the top of his head, he's sitting at about 6.4, 6.5 inches, which is going to translate to about 16.2 centimeters. And his ears will get him to about 6.6 inches. Now this guy does have drop-down hips. If you want to make him as tall as possible, the top of his head is going to be about 6.6 inches, and with the top of the ears being about 6.7. Now let's look at his articulation, and it's got almost everything you would want. So starting with his head here, the top of his head can rotate around, can look up and down about that far, and then it's got articulation at the base of the neck as well, letting him look down that far, which would be great over the top of a building, and up about that far. Shoulders are on a ball joint, then go up about that far, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint in here as well. You can see it's going to allow his arms to go forward and back a ton. He's got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows done in the unique Mafex style. His wrist can rotate around. There's a ball in here. It's kind of like the Mcfarland figures. It's hinged as well. You can rotate at the base of the hand or where the forearm connects. And if you wanted to change how it's hinged, you can just sort of move it around a little bit. Then your hand will hinge up and down. He's got a ball joint in his torso here. Can rotate around. Can also go forward and back. He's got another ball joint at the base here. It can rotate and also go forward and back, giving him a huge range of motion in his torso here. Legs can go out about that far. They are on a ball joint. Then go forward about that far. He can sit down, no problem. And they can go back about that much. There is no thigh cut, but they can swivel a little bit. Double jointed knees, absolutely all the way back. And then his foot here can go up and down. It can rotate. And if you want it to rock, you can kind of adjust the ball joint there, and it will allow it to rock as well. And he's got toe articulation. His wrists and ankles remind me of the Mcfarland joints, but done so much better. Here's Batman on top of our gargoyle, recreating the cover of Batman Comics number 608 from the Hush storyline. Here he is, hanging out at the top of a building, waiting to make his move. Here he is, looking over his city, making sure that nothing is going to happen tonight. The Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight, the Watchful Guardian. I love how he can look down the side of a building and it actually looks right. Very few Batman figures can do that. And then just a quick glance at some of the vehicles he fits into. Batman Animated Series Batwing, yes, he fits, no problem. Batman Animated Series Batmobile fits as well. The Multiverse Justice League Batmobile, yes, he fits. The new 12-inch scale Spin Master Batmobile, yes. Old The Batman Batmobile, yes. Any of the Bat Pods, even the basic Batman vs Superman Batmobile, the Bat Raptor, the Spin Master Batmobile. He fits into a lot of my vehicles and I love it. So far, what do I think? I think this guy's great. 2 thumbs up. He's probably easily the best Mafex Batman out there, and they've made some really good ones lately. Is he my favorite Batman of all time? Probably not, although he's probably my top 3. What is my favorite Batman? I don't have a solid answer for that. It's a really hard question to answer. I'd have to dwell on that for some weeks. I have started to become pretty accustomed to the DC Direct and Mcfarland 7-inch scale. I haven't got to compare them to other action figures yet, so I'm really curious to do that, and we'll do that here very soon. My only concern is maybe he'd be a little shorter than I'd like, but I think he looks amazing. He looks to be about DC Universe Classics size, but we'll check that out here in just a second. Let's go ahead and check this guy out compared with some other action figures, starting with some Mafex figures. Here he is, next to what I consider are probably the 4 nicest Mafex Batman figures out there. My absolute favorite one before Hush is the all-black Justice League Ben Affleck Batman. That one moves great, looks great, excellent figure. The tactical suit Batman next to him is excellent as well. But Mafex absolutely killed it with the Batman Begins Batman and the Dark Knight 3.0 version. I really don't like the 1.0 at this point. It was one of the first figures they made, and it has not held up well. The 2.0 is an improvement, and I really hate when they make re-releases of the same figure and upgrade them. But I'll be damned, this 3.0 is definitely worth it. These are some really nice Batman figures here, and as you can see, they scale up pretty much all the same. Here he is next to all the different Mafex Batmans that I have, and they're all pretty nice. But Mafex has only made Batman figures for the movies. They are just now dipping their feet into the comic line, and it is great. Some of the figures at the beginning were quite rough. The Dark Knight 1.0, his arms just fall out constantly, fall apart so easily, so annoying. They've gone through some trials and tribulations to get them to the point they're at now, but they're finally here, delivering us some of the best quality Batman figures ever. This Hush Batman is the first in their comic line. They're making a black Hush Batman as well, and they're also making 2 different versions of the Dark Knight Returns Batman, as well as some villains from both Hush and Dark Knight Returns. So they're putting their entire foot into the comic line, and please go as deep as you possibly can. From left to right here, we've got the Batman Begins Batman, we've got the Batman Begins Nightmare Batman, we've got the Dark Knight 1.0, Dark Knight 2.0, Dark Knight 3.0, Hush Batman, Batman vs Superman Batman, Batman vs Superman Nightmare Batman, Batman vs Superman Armored Batman, Justice League Batman, and Justice League Tactical Suit Batman. Now let's check him out, compared with action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. We'll start off with the larger lines and work our way smaller, and we'll include Batman figures, which each company that we can. Here he is with some DST or Diamond Select toys. And don't let that John Wick scare you. He's out of scale even with the usual 7-inch Diamond Select figures. Here he is with some Mcfarland Toys Batman figures. Mcfarland Toys just got the DC license this year, and in my opinion, they are killing it. They started off a little shaky with the Batman releases. Detective Comics Batman there, the second figure, head's too small, torso's a little jacked up. Batman Animated Series Batman has some other problems as well. But this Arkham Asylum and White Knight Batmans are a huge improvement and are amazing. This Detective Comics Batman number 1000 has become my sort of go-to Batman when messing around. He is far from my favorite Batman, but he moves pretty good. It's a classic Rebirth Batman and is very comfortable to play with. Now, I know a lot of people are mad that the Mcfarland figures are 7 inches, but I personally love it. Fits in with a ton of my action figures, especially the DC Direct type stuff. Here he is with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. The second figure from the left is a DC Direct Hush Batman from the same storyline, but much older articulation formula. I'm also very fond of the DC Essentials Nightfall Batman on the far left. If only they gave him some different hands, he'd almost be perfect. Here he is with some Neca Batman figures. In my opinion, these are some of the nicest Batman figures out there. The one on the far left was from a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Batman vs. Aliens 2-pack. It was NECA's attempt at a comic Batman, and it was hyped up to be possibly the best Batman figure ever as well. I'd say this Hush one is pretty much on par with that. They're both in my top 5 without a doubt. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Batman figures. Between Mezco, Mafex, NECA, and I'm going to say Mcfarland has stepped up to the plate. DC Collectibles, although they haven't given us a home run in a little while now. This is a great age to be a Batman collector. There are so many options for some excellent figures. Here he is with some Mattel, DC Universe Classics, and Multiverse Batman figures. And I must say, his height is pretty much on par with these guys. Then, with some more Mafex figures. Here he is next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. Then, with some Jazzwares figures. So overall, this guy is great. He is just so good. He looks good. He's in the comic colors. He moves good. His accessories, they're okay. They could be a little better. But this guy is just great. His Bruce Wayne head looks good. Just everything about this guy. I thought he was going to be too short, but no, he's excellent. He fits in with the majority of stuff I want him to fit in with. 2 thumbs up to this guy. There's very little I don't like about him. He could probably use a little bit more swivel in his thigh area. His accessories, I would have preferred his grapnel to be separate, but that's just me. Overall, if I were to rate this guy, it's a hard one. I'm teetering on 8.5 or 9. Probably just going to stay an 8.5 out of 10, but this guy is great. There's no way he's not going to be the top 10 action figures in my collection from 2020. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comments section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.